That's right. We are back. I'm assuming, there we go. That works now. We're back. It's the season finale. Week 18, if you will. Which, not really.
It's the finale, not the finale.
Exactly. It's the season finale. That helps no one fantasy cast on Crier Media. It is the place to find your fantasy football news, or at least a version of the news, and what we deem is important, mostly to us. Hence, that helps no one. Welcome, boys. This is it.
Yeah, we got there. We did it. What season is this?
3.
Wow, look at us.
I know. Finished 3 seasons. Hopefully, we got one more surprise episode. Probably not right away, but soonish.
Three's a wolf pack.
Yeah, because we're the 3. Oh, Vegas, huh? How about that drive in?
Yeah, sometimes you end up on a roof.
We both. Yeah, we both know none of our wives would let us go to Vegas together.
No.
I feel like our wives are pretty great about like. I'll just speak for myself because I don't want to put words in your wise mouth. But I don't really have to ask permission to do things like, go for a beer with the boys and stuff like that. I don't really have to ask permission. But if I were to say, hey, we're going to Vegas with the boys, it would be like,
that's a little bit more.
What are you new to this marriage? Like, no, thanks.
I don't know. Yeah. I think I might have enough points for that.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have those points built up. So when you cash them in, you're like, okay, I'm okay with this. This is what I wanted to cash them in for. So just be sure. They're more expensive than air miles. So make sure you just cash in those points when they matter. Don't just use them for a rainy day. Make sure you go on a sunny time. This is Chris may show up. He's been a little bit under the weather. Ted says he's been under the weather. Actually, he hasn't coughed at all since we've started. So this is progress, basically. We have some awards to give out, and I tried to get some fancy stats towards the end, but most of the time it's just going to be the awards I've given.
You didn't throw like all the picks through like sabermetrics or anything like that.
I'm getting my sabermetric sharpened.
There's no wowie or
no. This isn't hockey, so
there's no like dog number or anything like that.
Yak with a K at the end.
Well, yak's an actual thing, but
no, with a K though.
Okay, yeah. Did you add the K part because you realized that yak is an actual measurable?
I did, yeah. It's like no. What is yak for? Well, there's no acronym. It's just yak. Like if that guy makes a play and you don't have him and he scores a touchdown, it's like the new Thno. Like you yak because you're like, I can't believe that guy.
Yeah, that would be a good one to catch on. Maybe that's what we'll have to call the segment if we do another year here. Is the yak award? Like the somebody who just wanted to like just throw up everywhere. Like how would you?
Yeah, exactly. Like Amari Cooper. Yeah, I got something to do now.
Yeah,
yak
heads. Yeah, I've never used a yak in Photoshop before.
Yeah, I figure I could find a good yak out there. There's
I wonder if we get, Kyle Brandt to sponsor it. He gives out like the Angry Runs scepter to people.
Yeah,
Kyle, could you sponsor us with the yak helmet? And guy has to like go out there with his helmet on.
Oh, man, that's a great idea. That alone is the reason we should have a 4th season. Yeah. I like this. This.
Yeah, we should be part of the like thought leadership group for the NFL. That's what it.
I mean, how hard can that be? They're clearly getting
we just nailed it right here. So obviously,
yeah.
Extremely difficult.
We should probably I just want to make sure you guys are all eligible award recipients for this show. Nobody has to declare to a referee that you're ineligible or eligible.
I don't even have a number on my shirt.
Even if we did, would it matter?
Apparently not. Yeah, no big deal. It's not like that was a super important.
I thought it was simple. Like we declare the whole team as eligible.
It's silly.
Yeah, that team got pulled. That refereeing team got pulled there from the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what happens when you screw up royally.
Do you know where they're refereeing next? The Ravens Steelers game coming up.
Oh,
well, it doesn't really matter, but yeah,
I know. Like my uncle's a big.
That's why, because it doesn't matter, so they put them in the doesn't matter game.
But it does though, because the Steelers need a win to get into the playoffs. And I think it's like a Buffalo loss, and Buffalo and Miami are playing for the division title. So it actually has quite a bit of ramifications for the playoff. Like, obviously, as a Ravens fan, I'm like, oh, well, I don't really care. It doesn't change anything for us. But at the same time, it does, because you don't want your division rivals in there. Like, get the Steelers out at all costs.
Yeah, that could be messy if the Browns, the Steelers, and the Ravens are well, and I guess the Bengals potentially, right?
Yeah,
because the aren't the Bengals? They're still in it, aren't they?
I think they're out.
Okay,
Who's that? Bengals?
Yeah, they're done. Done skis.
Got the X.
Yeah, there's and then so Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook is going to become a free agent potentially if he doesn't get claimed, and it sounds like the Ravens kind of have. He'd be a nice like third or fourth guy, hey, if injuries keep going.
The Ravens and the Browns both have feelers out for Cook, is what we're hearing.
And then apparently there's a Viking. What was the Ravens? I think you guys were saying this today, or Chris was. OBJ is saying that the Ravens are going on like a cruise or something, a boat. Like, no. We know how those end. Probably a bad idea to be having a boat cruise. Hopefully all the guys are married and nobody's, no, man, I'm engaged.
I mean, if they're married and they're on the cruise, it might make it worse. I don't know.
That's true. You probably just want all the single guys. All the single guys. That'd be it'd be an interesting boat ride.
What is it? The Spirit of Baltimore or something like that?
Is there really a spirit in Baltimore? I don't think so.
Yeah, his name's Ray Lewis.
That's true. So I'm not gonna go there. Not gonna go. I'm gonna leave that alone. Let's get to our first award, and hopefully you guys like this one. This is worst advisor.
That's
I mean, it's a bratwurst.
Oh, it's a bratwurst.
A brat. But
needs a tube of that blue tube of mustard is what it needs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Tommy mustard.
Yeah.
Where do you get that?
I usually get it at Helmet. It's Tommy mustard. It's kind of like imported from Germany. It's so good. So it's got like a little bit of like, it's got kind of like a little punch to it, a little somewhat bang. Yeah.
So it's like a fancier Dijon mustard.
Yeah. It comes in like it comes in like a polysporin tube.
Oh,
and it's just big
metal tube,
like an aluminum tube.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like medication, and then you put it on your hot dog. Super good.
There you go. So this one was for worst. What did I say? Worst advisor. So this one, unfortunately, does go to the person that had to miss a bunch of shows.
Was he actually the worst advisor, or just because
he was just based on statistics? It was close. It was close, but unfortunately, yeah, it was Chris. Only by 3 though. So I added up every week. So basically, if you hit on an ad or if you hit on a start, and you got an X. And then I also have, if you hit anything basically like 10 plus, was like 2 X's. So it was like a bonus.
Oh, so what do you consider a hit, like 8 points?
I
hit on an ad, not a start. Yeah, I'm curious what the formula is.
Both of them. Like, so basically, if you hit on the ad that week, or if you hit on the ad for the following week, because sometimes it was a buy or something. But like, if you hit on the ad from the current week, and so, let's say the guy went off and you happen to add him, and I guess you'd have to have started him as well. Or the ad was for, obviously, you'd think for next week. So it kind of was like a hybrid one. I gave some leeway for everybody on that one. And then basically it was like 9 and up, and I'd have to look back. Like it was the person that won for okayest advisor was up by a few, so it wasn't going to make a difference either way. So but yeah, so you basically got like, and if you blew up for like 20 points on a guy, it was still only like 2, like a hit and a bonus. So you can't like mega bonus or anything. Mega bonus, mega bussin'.
There's no multipliers in the show.
Yes.
If the guy hit a 75-yard gain, you got 4 X's. If it was 76, you got 4. If it's 75, you didn't get the modifier. So it was just a regular 2x.
Exactly. Yeah, it unfortunately didn't work that way. So Chris was our worst advisor. So again, he did pretty well. He was in there. I do have the stats here, and I'll reveal them at the end, just because I have some other awards that I'm giving out as well. But no.
I would like to say that I don't have any speeches prepared or planned, so I'm not thanking anyone. So don't expect any free shout out thanks to anyone listening.
Steve, no, I do not have what you've asked. Did you send it to me?
No, just whenever you're ready.
Okay. So what's the next one? Oh, this is a beauty. This one is a beauty.
We should report who won our league. We have a
most useless starter.
that one actually was one of the easier ones once I found the right clip. That just let that one soak in for a second.
That's good.
It is pretty good.
I can feel her staring, holds daggers to the back of my head.
Yeah,
dude's just trying to game fantasy football or like Candy Crush Saga, and he's just getting the death glare there.
Yeah, it's just let me finish up. She's like, let me finish up.
I'm just setting my lineups. Just
yeah. We'll get into after this. We'll get into some league stuff. So this was actually a tie between Ted and Chris. You both had 12 weeks worth of useless starts.
12 weeks worth. Wow.
Do the show for like 14 weeks.
12, yeah, or 12. Anyway,
so I only had two good starts throughout the whole season. Why am I even on this show?
Just a second. Oh, just a second.
How did they get on the show? As if we have like, oh, sorry, we had 17 episodes this season, so you had 3 quality starts.
Had 3 starts.
Where are we here? No, that number is wrong. Regardless, Tad and Chris tried for useless starts.
Maybe it was 13 good starts.
I can't remember. I added it up, and the number's wrong. And regardless, you and Chris tied for the useless.
Sounds legit.
You didn't get credit for the ones that you tried stealing from other people. That was probably your downfall.
Yeah. But before we get into the next award, let's go over how our seasons went. I'll go first because I run the show. I lost in the semifinals, and I lost in the finals for the first overall pick. So once again, I'm the second overall pick in the Whistleblowing Unicorns League. And I lost in the semis, which, yes, I would have won had I somehow made it through. But it is what it is. This is why you play the games. Blah, blah, blah. Best team. Number 1 scoring team. Didn't make it happen. Ted, how were things for you this year?
In fantasy? I think I finished 5th in our buddy Kyle's league, and it was a total dud in the in Whistleblowers League. I think I was in the trade talks to empty the team after like week 3 or something like that. So it had all those starters go down, so that was bad. But I'm locked and loaded. I feel like with a good set of draft picks for next year. And then the work league, I think I finished like 5th again. So
yeah, you did okay, and you did benefit from our trade, so you got a first and a second rounder from me.
Yeah, so I think I'm up with 3 first-round draft picks in that league and still finished 5th. So I should be in good shape for next year with some solid keepers and did a little more damage than I thought I was supposed to with all those backups and nice waiver fines and stuff like that. So yeah,
you might be elite.
Yeah,
Joe Flacco elite.
Joe Flacco. That's another category altogether. And finally, last but not least, the man in the hoodie, the Blue Jays hat, Mr. Steve. How did everything go in your leagues? Like, you've got a few different ones going on. So
yeah, I was in 3 this year. So a guy from work wanted me to join his league. I ended up getting 4th in that. The person who won didn't set their lineup and still had a mega blow up. Like, I don't even think she knew what her login info was anymore. There was something. Anyways, so I got 4th in that one. Whatever.
That hurts.
Yeah, my 4-sport league, I ended up getting 6th or 7th, I think. Early exit from the playoffs. Some injuries there. And then obviously we know how it went in whistleblowing. I was in the finals. And I'm using Kyle's words, our buddy Kyle, who Ted was referencing, said that I had a far superior team, which I'm not trying to be arrogant there. I believe my team was far superior to his. I had Lamar Jackson go off for 46 points.
Is it only superior if you start all your starters though?
Yeah, well, so here's the problem with it is when you have too many starters or too many stars, you kind of start second guessing yourself and where do you go. So obviously I left a ton of points on the bench. I left Jawan Johnson on the bench for 15 points. I left Jerome Ford on the bench for 24, Dortch for 8. Any of those starts. Greg Dortch.
Ballot of Greg Dortch, you left him on the bench?
Any of those people would have won me the championship. So in all fairness to Kyle, like, sure, I had the more superior team, but he did a better job of his ad starts. There was one ad and start that he made just, I think it was maybe a day before. I would have to look.
What was the final score? Like it was.
Oh, sorry.
It was less than a point, right?
8 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 yards away. So even a full point here, or like I said, at start. So 6 days ago, I don't know how many. It would have been about 3 days before the final game. He ended up adding Darius Slayton, and then started him. And Darius Slayton went off for 106 yards and a touchdown. So I've got to give total credit to Kyle. Like, he made the right.
He said all along too that he was going to be hitting the rubbish pile to pick up Slayton to start him. Like, everybody knew that he was going to do it, and it was hilarious because he went off.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like I was pretty bitter for a couple days there. Just, you have
to be. If you lose like that, considering we all told you to start Jerome Ford, I did anyway. I'd be bitter too.
Yeah, I went and got some professional advice for the Jerome Ford thing. It makes a lot of sense, which is why I did it in the first place. I left.
You fell victim to the same trap that I did about makes a lot of sense and is the smart play. But
yeah, I mean, it was between Aaron Jones, who also had a really good day, and Jerome Ford. So, like,
Aaron Jones didn't have a bad day at all.
No, he had 130 all-purpose yards, so he had a good week. It's just Jerome Ford had the week that he hasn't had since maybe, like, I don't know, like week 4 or 5, like one of those first weeks that Nick Chubb went down. He hasn't really been putting up those double-digit fantasy numbers. So, I mean, that's the tricky part when you really load your team up, is that you have all of these guys. I mean, I have Cole Kmet on my bench. I have Jerome Ford on my bench. I have CJ Stroud on my bench. It was a year of constantly deciding, like, what's
the better move.
Yeah. So anyways, Kyle and I made a little side bet. It was after the morning games. So after, he had Isaiah Likely, he had Gus Edwards, which is kind of ironic being a Ravens fan, but I had Lamar Jackson. I was down by quite a bit of points going even into the afternoon games. And I had like AJ Brown, I had Travis Kelce, I had DeAndre Swift, I had Romeo Doubs, I had Aaron Jones, and I was down by, I can't even remember. It was a sizable amount. With those 5 guys, I should have won. But like I put in our chat, there's only so much you can do when the likes of Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Travis Kelce, Odell Beckham, and Romeo Doubs all combined get outscored by Darius Slayton.
Yeah,
that's bad.
To add a little bit more to the roster, because you mentioned your roster, it's a really solidly built squad. I like a lot of not huge hitters all the time, but really consistent performers, I think, is what sort of like propelled you through this league, right? But yeah, you were playing against, not a shit squad, but pretty good squad, like Hurts, Henry, Montgomery, you had Philly Smith in there, Myers, Chase, Laporta, Gus the Bus, and then Slayton was his one that he got off the bench and then started Isaiah Likely. So the difference between the two of you is that your bench was far, far superior. And then again, like you said, might have been your Achilles heel because he didn't have anybody on his bench worth starting. I think his max bench score was 3.4 points out of Rondale Moore, right? So there wasn't a whole lot there. He went with what he could to the point where he was pulling stuff off the waiver wire to start. And The consistency just scored in this one. He had some guys had some decent weeks.
Yeah, he even said beforehand, he was like, I'm putting boom bust guys in because your team, he's talking to me, your team is so good that I need to hit on some of these, right? Like he started 2 tight ends in there. Darius Slayton, what was he, like wide receiver 50 or something all year? So hats off to
Myers.
him. Yeah, we had a side bet. So after the morning games, I go, I don't know, Kyle, it's looking pretty close. And he goes, no, you're going to destroy me. Like this won't even be close. And I go, well, if you think that, then let's put a little side bet in there. And so I said, how about the winner has to buy the loser a 4-pack of beer, just as a little consolation thing. You lose in the finals, you still get something out of it. So apparently Ted, I was in the shower when Ted dropped off this card and a 4-pack of this wonderful beer, which I'm really excited for.
There you go.
And the card reads, Dear Steve, congrats on your runner-up placement in the Whistleblowing Unicorns Fantasy Football League.
Nice.
You kind of have to know Kyle. Like this is exactly how he would start it off. You should be proud of your accomplishment. Thanks, Kyle. May this beer be as delicious and complex as your trade offers. Love, Kyle. Bracket the champ, secondary bracket, back to back, close both brackets. From Kyle himself. So it awesome. Honestly, it really made my day just reading that. I was like, thanks for the package, buddy. He's like, did you get the card too? And I was like, yeah.
That's clever.
This whole thing, the whole thing really does come down to the Darius Slayton start, right? And obviously misses, but whatever. But the start was the big thing because real ballsy start. But he was only rostered in 6% of leagues and started in only 1%.
Yep.
So he really did only help Kyle.
Yeah. And like he even had someone like Marquise Brown on his bench who was going to start, maybe not going to start. He had Jamar Chase on his bench, maybe start, not going to start. Brown goes out, that's one of a couple injuries.
Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton actually came from my team, so I had him. And
Dowdle and some guys, yeah.
Advice from our buddy Jim Coventry said, anything on your bench that you can get rid of right now that has zero value for you next year, ditch it and add some players. And I think that's good advice in 2 different ways. So I had some wide receiver and actually tight end injuries, right? I had Christian Kirk go out, had Mark Andrews go out. They're both on IR. So I needed to pick up some players that maybe if one of my other guys went down, like I literally only had Greg Dortch on my bench if I needed a wide receiver to swap out there. And then I also added Jawan Johnson only because it was like, it looked like he had an easy matchup. And I was like, I just don't want Kyle adding him because Kyle will grab a guy like that because he had 2 tight ends on his roster. He was going to start a third one.
And he would have ended up being useful.
He would have ended up being useful anyways. And I was like, I did ask you guys, I was like, between these 3 guys, Odell, Kmet, and Johnson, who should I start? And, it was another mistake, right? I should have started Johnson. He was the boom bust guy. Chris's advice for Cole Kmet was super sound. He was like, hey, I don't know that he's going to get any points coming off that knee injury. And I was like, yeah, it was also snowing in Chicago. So I was like, I probably don't want to go that route. I don't know that I was ever going to start Jawan Johnson, but that was the right play, which hindsight is 2020.
It's tough.
That would have been a tough one to overrule and start for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, when
at least you can go to that instead of having all of your stars just suck on the week you need them to be good. Like you had them suck, but you still had a good enough team, and it just came down to like somewhat of a trivial one way or the other. Like again, I think it was the Aaron Jones, Jerome Ford thing. Like you had to pick one. They both hit. There's no way you could have saw and we're laughing when Ford was going off that game. Like if this, like, I was thinking, I'm like, I swear if this ends up being the reason, like, because you're thinking it, you can't help it, right? You're thinking it for the other guy, and you're like, if this is the reason, that's gonna hurt, because you have to live with that for a few days too, right? Knowing you're like, man, I hope Aaron Jones hits because Jerome Ford just went off.
So,
like,
also somehow, go ahead. Yeah.
To go further on that, I mean, when you look back in hindsight, Jerome Ford was the start over all of my other running backs, over DeAndre Swift, over Breece Hall, who had an amazing day himself, over James Cook, over Aaron Jones. Like, it was one of those things. We have 4 spots where you can start a running back. I had to cut one of them out. Even when Breece on Thursday had his big night, I was like, oh wow, like, this is what a great start to finals. Like, damn, that really hurts that Jerome Ford could be there. And if I had started Jerome Ford, I probably would have been popping the champagne already, because you're looking at 42 points in the first day, with a really good team behind you. But it just goes to show you, like, you can never be too that kind of stuff. And that was my message to Kyle. I was like, you know what? Like, you can say your team is bad all you want, but literally anything can happen. When Travis Kelce gets you 1.6 points in the finals, what do? Justin Jefferson, 5.9 points. Like,
and you couldn't start Dorchel for
that was
Kelce. Like, you just wouldn't, right?
Well, I mean, I couldn't because he's a tight end, but like, the right play was to start Dortch over Justin Jefferson. Nobody's going to do that, right? So,
well, no one in their right mind would, unless you're just absolutely
the
crazy.
Story is, when you project your points, and again, not trying to be arrogant, I don't think his team was garbage, but I do think I spent the draft capital and I went all in, solidifying this team to the point of where I have K. Dobbins and Mark IR slots.
Yeah.
If you think you're being outmatched, what do you have to lose? Like, he was playing with house money, right? He's just like, like Ted had said, he had no one else on his bench who was worthy of a start. So he was like, screw it. Slayton's got a pretty good matchup. He's a guy that can go off. I'm going to like go for broke. And it won him a championship. So kudos to Kyle.
I mean, it wasn't that bad of a team. It was a higher scoring team than yours throughout the course of the season, which is crazy. You just had almost 440 points less scored against you, which probably helped, right? But I think the biggest thing there was depth, right? I mean, that you had significantly more depth with him on the season. So yeah. Also undefeated right up until the ship. So welcome to the club. It's you and me at the top, bro.
I wasn't actually.
No, you didn't.
I was 13-1.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it a little better.
Just you.
Just me.
You're the only title holder of that so far.
Heavy is the crown.
So I haven't learned my lesson on that, taking an L on purpose throughout the week that one year, and it still didn't change anything. Still lost in the ship.
It's awful. Steve and I have had some conversations over the week here about fantasy, and I'm of the mind that you still play because it's such a heartbreaker, and yet the fun is knowing that when you get there, like, the stakes, however much they are, just always feel like they're so high. Like, honestly, like, I'll talk about our Pick'em League at work. Like, it's everybody put in $20 this year, so we got like $180 pot. There's 9 of us, and I mean, that is like the thing. Like, that is bragging rights every single week, and it means like it's a mean nothing. What's $180? Like,
it's not about the money in any of these.
It's like you walk in. Like, my dad is going into week 18 and he's got a chance. He just basically has to not suck and he'll win. And like, I told him, like, don't get cute. Just take the picks that look like they're the right ones. Don't take any, like, don't take a flyer on whoever. Like, go in with the teams that look like they're supposed to win this week. And he should win. But there's a few people right below him, 1 point back. And I mean, maybe you take one different one, and it goes.
That's the guy that's got to go Easton Stick versus the Chiefs, man. That's where that's going to come from.
Exactly. So it's like you play. We joke about it. You play to win the game. Like, you do, and it's like cheering for the teams we actually cheer for. I mean, I was a buddy of mine back when I was living down in Vancouver. He said he's finally divorced the Mariners after years and years and years, and he's like, it's for real this time, like last time. And he had messaged me about a couple weeks ago. He goes, no, I am done. He goes, I have to pick. He's going to put like a couple hats on a table like you would for picking all this kind of thing. He's like, I'm just going to pick a new team. He's like, I have had it with the Mariners. So, which is funny because I still think they're not too bad, but. Anyway.
You should do that. You should do that for your NFL team. Like when you decide, and you did say by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know if that's fantasy football year or if that's the NFL year that you're.
We'll say the NFL year. I need some time still.
You're gonna hitch your wagon somewhere.
I'm definitely
wins this year though, right? Right.
I'm saddling up for the Oregon Ducks. I'll tell you that for free. They're a fun team to watch.
Fun college team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll have a team. It's leaning towards the Titans. That's where my original heart was when I started watching the NFL many moons ago. And Mr. Dyson, I don't know how he did it, but he did break my heart on that play. It wasn't fun to watch. And I was like, why am I emotional about this? So maybe it will be the Titans. I do have some skin in the game there. I did re-add up for this next award, and it actually changed who won this. So the next award.
You just re-added it on the fly here?
Yeah. This is go figure though, most useless adder. See the little Thno on the calculator. That's pretty good. So this is the person who. Yeah, I was thinking about typing that in. I was like, I could do that whenever I want. I could just send that to you guys and you'd giggle. So this actually did change, and it changed from. I'm trying to remember who had it. I think it was originally Ted, but go figure. Probably why I'm a better host than giving advice. I ended up winning the most useless adder with 13 weeks of not good ads. So, or that I hit on. I mean, I hit on guys. Like I said, to get an X on that, it had to be like a hit. Not, I mean, a lot of guys were decent, but 4 to 5 points. Thank you, Ted. Appreciate that. I think it's a 5 though, not a 2. Somebody, you clearly. Maybe you should have got that award. Yeah. So it was, like I said, based on my scale of how you got points, and same for the starters as well. Doesn't mean that the starts didn't hit. It's just that they didn't hit after a certain level. So I took the most useless adder award. Go figure. I didn't do one for best host or best commissioner. So we'll leave that. Because what?
You may not win that. Like you're not confident in your abilities.
I think that's the hard part. I might not even win those. So.
I don't know about you, Ted, but so just for anyone watching, Ted and I have no clue what Ryan is about to give out here. But the more he keeps talking, I'm like, oh man, if I would have known I had to like really hit on these picks to do something, I probably wouldn't have gone so far out into left field. And then I'm thinking to myself, I would still.
I'm still going on to left field. That's the whole point of this thing, right?
It was the same setup as last year. It's just my computer crashed, so I didn't have the stat set up that I had from last year. But
did Steve win the safest picks award?
I didn't. Didn't make an award for that.
Stole picks and told people to start. What was it, Nico Collins?
Yeah, well, it's in the Najee Harris category. I'm going to save the big award for last. So this was tough because you guys didn't give me a lot to work on this one. But as you guys can probably guess, we've gotten rid of Jody Fortson on this one. And I think you're going to like this graphic a little bit better.
Yeah, very deserving.
The most vulnerable player. And I don't know if you guys can read in the bottom there.
Does he steal Thno picks too?
No, it's just he steal.
That's the best graphic you've done all year.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you can see under the live. So I did like Marvel the Thno there. So
that's a real good one. I like that one a lot.
It is that one. I'm not going to tell you when I made that.
We didn't get rid of Jody. Once you're a Thno, you're always a Thno. You can always come back. It's just like The Voice.
We'll always leave the door open for him.
Yeah,
Adam Levine and Blake Shelton coming back or something.
Well, I mean, we've got to add him back into it, obviously, because he's going to be on the show one of these days, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, there's always room.
Going to be there.
He's got the placeholder. So the guys that, and this is kind of how the award I thought went, but I'm willing to debate this because it actually hasn't been awarded yet. It's between Harrison Bryant and Jake Bobo. They both were Thanoed twice. That being said, if you guys want to look quickly, we can debate this and pick a different guy.
Who Thanoed them? I Thanoed Bryant once.
Twice.
At the start of the... I did him twice? I don't think I did him twice. I think I did him once. When he had a 1-1-1.
Yeah,
at the very
I'm going to look here.
And I think Ryan might have did it the other
No,
time.
you did. You had him as your Thano in episode 14.
Okay.
And yeah, there's one. And then Thano, you also picked him in episode 2.
There you go.
And then for Jake Bobo, Chris took him.
A worthy Thano, though. I wasn't just picking him because he was a Brown.
Chris took him twice. Go figure.
Oh wow, the Cleveland Browns fan took a Cleveland Brown twice. Oh look, the Seattle Seahawk fan took the Seahawk twice.
So I'm just going to scroll through here quickly just to look at a few different ones. Little Jordan Humphreys in there, Blake Bell, Hayden Hurst. Who else do we got here? We didn't have any in the first episode, obviously. Easton Stick, we could talk about. Kylan Granson, that was an interesting one from Gardner Minshew. Dontavian Wicks, Nelson Aguilar somehow made it on there. Calvin Austin.
I mean, Chris Jimmy DeVito as a Thano way back in.
I think the Thano has got to be a guy who like stayed a Thano throughout the course of the season, right? Like really was big in that one game. Like who made the absolute least impact during the course of the season to come in and just vulture in the one game, right?
Tommy Tremble, I think had a couple.
Tremble might be a good one.
I also feel like there's a little bit of merit when you add a Thano who then goes on to actually assume like a role. Like.
Yeah,
I know there was like
Oscar Moreau
was there.
So we want to go the other direction with the Thano. Thano who became a good player.
I really like the Tyson. Is it Bagent or Bagent? Thano. That was a funny one for me. It would probably be the funniest. The funniest Thano should.
He runs a meth lab in Alabama with his uncle. That's a good one. Well done, Ryan. Well done, Ryan. Well done, Ryan. That was a good one. I mean, he did. He looked like he ran a meth lab with his uncle in Alabama, to be fair.
It's very true.
Brenton Strange is on there.
Schoonmaker.
There's some good ones.
Schoonmaker.
That was fun. And that was a tough one.
Kevin Harris was an out of nowhere with 0 anythings up until that point in the season.
MVS is in there. I feel like maybe it should be MVS. Because, I mean, everybody was dropping them like MVS after that week, so...
Sorry.
That's okay. You're allowed to do that. So does anyone have like one that takes over those two? I think there's some tough ones in there. Like Gardner Minshew went from Thano to starter. So I mean that would probably, count as graduating from the Thano status.
You get some Kevontae Turpin was a good one.
Yeah.
Michael Pruitt, who made 3 consecutive appearances on back-to-back Thano seasons.
I guess we have to figure out what the criteria is. Do we want to look for a guy who really did come in and just steal once and then settle off into the sunset, or we want to pick a guy that stole and then became valuable?
I think Michael Pruitt
stole and then stole. Right?
I think Michael Pruitt 3 seasons in a row. That's impressive.
I think there's a lot of fun criteria with this, and I mean this essentially is what sparked us for the entire show. It's the namesake of the show. It was I hate the most in fantasy football, and like yeah, for me, I mean, like I don't want other guys vulturing touchdowns from Justin Jefferson. I could have won a fantasy football championship from that, right? Like this is the like Achilles heel of all fantasy football players. Darius touchdown. I don't know how many he had on the year, but I don't think he had that many touchdowns where it's like
he was only owned in. He was only started in 1% of leagues, so
we had a defensive.
He's reliving it right now, and he's like, "I need a moment."
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah,
Luke Schoonmaker was a good one.
Schoonmaker, yeah, that was a good one. Okay, let's put it up. Michael Pruitt, Schoonmaker, and let's pick one more, and then we're gonna call it.
I think Bobo has to be in there because there was so much talk of Bobo, even in our our league chat. It was like, you dropped Bobo, and then he went off and got a touchdown. Like Trenton Irwin, like, can't believe dropping Trenton. He's gonna get you back for this.
I mean, I think Bobo is the closest thing to Irwin in the fact that that's like a valuable player for them down the road. I mean, they used him as running plays. They used him, like, split him out wide. They used him as like a light tight end. I mean, he was really all over the place for them, a bit of a Swiss Army knife.
He's the Dexter McCluster of the Seahawks.
If he would have thrown a touchdown pass, it wouldn't have surprised me. I mean,
that's next.
I don't know. For my money, it's probably Bobo because he was the most fun Thno. Okay, but that would be my call.
Steve, what do you got?
I would agree with that one.
Are we going to be unanimous on this?
I mean, he's a bit of a hero too. When we were in Seattle, I mean, there was people had Bobo signs everywhere. Like,
he was a preseason darling too.
People just love them some Bobo down there. There was like guys drinking like bubble tea, and it just and it said on the side they had jiffied it out, and it said Bobo tea on it. Like, it was they had everything down there.
You know what?
It's Bobo time signs were everywhere. Like, I don't know how it is for other teams with their I don't want to say nothing players, but they're Thno type players. But man, the guy is seems like a little bit of a local hero down there. It's pretty hilarious.
He's like Schmidt, right? Like when was it? What's his name? Was it Owen Schmidt? Get Schmidt face. Remember that guy for the Seahawks? When he headbutted and started bleeding, everyone's like, "These are done."
I bet you Irwin is the same. I bet you there's some players down in Cincinnati. There's fans out there with lots of Irwin jerseys. It wouldn't surprise me either. I think Bobo is the right pick.
Okay, so we're gonna go with Jake Bobo as this year's most vulnerable. Oh, let's try to get this again. Most vulnerable player, even though that has Trenton Irwin, and he had the best graphic that I could pull. So that's why.
So he wins Thno of the year.
Yeah,
Jake Bobo. So. I think we need to.
Very similar to Man of the Year.
Yeah, we need to let him know on Twitter, like, you've won this, and maybe he'd like to come on the show to accept the award himself. I wouldn't see why.
What? Hey, you won the award for not helping anyone. I'm not coming.
Nobody learned their lesson though. We were wrong all along. We should have been spot starting Bobo all over the place. That's the play stupid games, win stupid prizes
all over the place.
It's like playing squares at the Super Bowl. Like that week he's gonna go off like he's not even starting. Trust me on this one. Trust me.
There's enough Jake for everyone. Could have Boboed all over the league.
Oh, we could have Boboed. Speaking of Boboing all over the league, this is what everybody's been waiting for. Okay. Wait, one more time. Okay. That means it's time for the okayest advisor.
Well, we know it's not Chris or I because you did the math weird, and apparently we only made 3 good starts.
No, I messed that up, but you're still gonna have that. So this is a combined stat of ads and starts, and so this includes the bonuses. I'm gonna get into this for a second here. So this person had 3 bonus ad/starts. 6 starts that hit, and like I said, I kind of screwed up on the uses. So anyway, and 6 ads. So without further ado, first of all, here's the graphic. The okayest advisor. If Chris was here, he would get it.
The shell on top of them.
I don't really know why the shell's there. It was more the towels than anything.
It's mediocre embodied right there. Like, yeah. When you're looking at like folded towels with I don't even know what they call those, tuna shells.
Maybe a conch.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a conch.
I don't know.
It'd be hilarious. I think if that's actually what it is, I think next year we need to have like a conch trophy, and like someone has to like.
Lord of the
Thno team assemble.
Yeah. What are you doing with the conch? Never mind.
Good intro. That's a good intro.
So if Chris was there,
that's the same intro to Survivor. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think you guys copied that. I don't know. So
you can
anyway,
clearly see me playing the conch.
I'm gonna have to figure this out. So forget about the useless start. Forget everything you know. This year, the award for okayest advisor. It's not Chris, first of all. And I'm gonna get into who else it's not. And it's not me. One of these people was tied with me, though, for second place.
It's got to be Ted because he copies everybody's picks.
Shall please.
And clearly he didn't. Clearly he didn't copy Chris's picks, and clearly he didn't copy the winner's picks. So
you mean like what he said in that graphic there?
Does he steal?
That's a play.
That's good.
It was funny. In the moment, it made me laugh.
Well, I do need to do a better job at checking the 2 or 3 conversations before I put it in the doc.
It's okay.
Scroll back like 250 comments. I can be better. I'm going to be better.
Okay. It's still funny, regardless. I could care less. So, the winner of season 3, Thno okayest advisor, is Mr. Copycat, Ted Wong.
This is easy. maybe the okayest advisor ever of all time.
So you hit on.
Test this one.
He hit on 3 bonuses on this one.
What were the bonuses again?
So it was probably more boom than consistency, I think, is what.
Oh yeah, saying. Like you were definitely like strikeout home run kind of thing. So you hit on week 14 big. You hit on week 15 big.
Who were they?
You'd have to look. I just went on.
It can't. It wasn't the Bears defense, was it? Like we're not giving them credit for that one.
No, I don't think so. And the week 16 ad.
Week 16 ad was Zamir White. Week 14, or so you said week 15 was another one?
You had week 14 start.
Yeah, well, that was the big DeMarcus Robinson one. I started him in every league, and I won huge on that one.
Yeah, week 15 start and week 16 ad.
Also looking at week 16 ad, you said?
Mm-hmm. Now that was probably more of a freebie.
That was where are we? Yeah, the week 16 ad was Zamir White. Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, it'll
maybe the okayest advisor ever of all time.
Well, I mean, this would have made a 3-peat for Steve. So
I wasn't winning it anyway.
And so he tied with you. You guys were.
We both had 12. We both had 12, and you had 15 of your ad plus starts. And then, like I said, you had 3 bonuses, and that put you over. Steve, you had 2 bonuses to get you to 12. I had 1. And Chris also had 1. So the bonuses kind of put everybody, well, it gives you that opportunity to jump a little bit. But regardless, kind of so if we take out the bonuses, though, and we just do it based on, let's see if that changes anything. No, Ted still wins by 1.
There you go.
So anyway,
pretty much or no bonus.
Yeah. So bonus or not.
It was the Ezekiel Elliott was the other one.
That was the other one. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a monster game.
It was probably Elliott and Robinson in back-to-back weeks. Those were good weeks in real fantasy football as well.
Yeah. So if people actually happen to have listened on or watched on those weeks, you did them well. So. But again, not to say that everyone had a pretty decent season. And like I said, it's not that people didn't hit. It's that you didn't hit to a level where, like I said, I think I had it about like 9 or 10 points was like the threshold or something. So might have even been 8. I'm not sure. We could go back on the math, and I'm sure Steve probably could if he really wanted to. You might. He's a teacher. So
I think Steve does enough mathing during his day job, so I don't think he's going to be into that.
Yeah. So regardless if I'm right or wrong. So anyway, congratulations to you, Ted. So you've got a title to defend. Steve, you gave up after going back to back. I was worried that you were going to win 3 in a row. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, the last thing we need is to
should have played it safe at the end of the season to win this award. What am I doing to myself here? Gosh.
These boys are going to have to pick it up, though. Hey, Steve. Yeah, we need other contributions. We need other contributions from everyone else here. You and I.
Yes.
I'm looking at week 12, the Puka Giveth and the Puka Taketh. There's some good ones in here, yeah.
Man, he's on pace to like do some damage still in week 18. Puka.
Yeah.
So I think he has a chance to set the rookie
record. Are they playing to get in, or have they already clinched? I would look into that one because I feel like I thought I read something that they had clinched already. I could be wrong. So they're 9-7. The Seahawks and Saints are 8-8, but I don't know if they can leapfrog them.
Let's see here.
NFC play number 6 or number 7 seed in play for the Rams in week 18.
There you go. So they're going to be going heavy.
The Rams are in the playoffs, having clinched the postseason berth with a 26-25 win over the Giants. So that, yeah.
And they got the Niners. Holy.
And the Seahawks loss.
They got the Niners.
Yeah, but the Niners are going to be sitting a lot of their players, right? Like they've locked one up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, boys. I'll check the Vegas odds on that one. That should be a fun one.
I think so, maybe.
We'll have to debate what happens for next season over some beers. But as far as the official part of the show goes, that's a wrap to season 3 of That Helps No One Fantasy Cast. It was a lot of fun. We had Jim Coventry came on again, which was always like the best.
He's great.
And we had a few moments that did quite well on the show. Chris, I think, broke his own record with the fab this year in towels. That was something. And I apparently tried to do that myself, which I didn't quite equal. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Best social or most viral. Oh, that's what I was trying to find a photo of someone getting an STD. But so Chris, obviously,
I don't know if you should.
The picture not dude with a. It's just a.
Yeah, not actually, just the picture.
Like, how do you find the PC version of that?
I don't know. I wasn't going to Google
a nice couple kissing where like one of them has a cold sore.
Something like that. Yeah, I probably could just throw like this one up again.
There you go.
Maybe something like that. We can double. So Chris obviously took most viral tweet for the show this year. I think it was like 3,400 views on it or something. So,
attaboy.
Not bad. That's what happens when you put out all the towels, throw out that fab. So. It was pretty impressive. So anyway, good times, everybody. Yeah. So you guys have teams that are going to the playoffs. That's super cool. Well played.
Ryan, thanks for putting all the work into this one. This is definitely you getting all these things ready and sorted every week. So I appreciate all your hard work. This was a lot of fun, as it is every year. But yeah, hard work doesn't go unnoticed in this one. So great job.
We had some fun. We had joy. We had fun. We had season 3 in the sun. So,
can I have how about a Thno limerick? Is that a thing? You do that? Haiku, maybe?
No, I'm not. I'm not good at the haiku. So anyway, on behalf of Mr. Haiku at the bottom, Mr. Second Place at the top, and myself, Ryan, That Helps No One Fantasy Cast season 3. That is a